Good morning, this is Kim Watson of Ezeetrader. Welcome to a morning review looking at the euro dollar first, and as you can see we made up the gap and some yesterday, actually taking out the highs of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at one point, running up to the upper bands here. So just pushed all the shorts out there, all those guys that thought I'll jump on, this is going to go down further, they were just completely squeezed out. Now the question is what the big money is doing, and well, the big money is quite happy seeing the euro sitting around where it is, around 1.1118 or 70 rather. So it would appear. Now, realistically, where are we going to go from here? Let's have a look at the 4 hourlies. It's really given me possibly 4 hourlies, the hourly chart, giving me the better idea. We are in a sort of a bull flag situation on this hourly point. From an hourly point of view, could push back towards the I think it might be a there we go, it might be a big ask to get up to that R1 today. It's quite a distance away, but if we do push up, I'd be looking at yesterday's highs. If we start breaking above this level, I would like to see the daily pivot taken out, just from a statistical point of view first. Perhaps if we see a break of the 21 moving average, we could see that running down towards the 34. From there, well, if it does keep moving and breaking to the downside, would be looking then obviously at the 50, maybe back towards that monthly pivot. But it's really, from this point of view, well, say it is a bit bull flaggish. It could just as well continue the route it was taking prior to the move for Sunday evening, really, and trickle back down a little bit towards the lower band. So I guess the 11.25 area may be a sort of point which actually that's down around about this sort of region, so back down towards the prior lows, where Friday's lows. So I'd be looking at that sort of area possibly, if it starts trickling down. But difficult one, really. It's really messed things up for us from a technical analysis point of view, but these things happen. Okay, cable eventually managed to get a bit of a wiggle on yesterday, but very iffy. I mean, it's sort of it's really given mixed signals here. Just it's not the easiest trade for the last few days. Friday was horrendous. Yesterday was not particularly great. One moment it looked like it was going to get quite bearish, and then it just held up there and stayed pretty level for quite long periods of the day. At this junction now, we've tested the 4 hourly 50. It's reacted off of that again, second time. And just consolidating. It's quite a difficult one to work out which direction is it running. If it's an if and but situation, it's a 50-50, because it's just not really given us any obvious sort of moves. Now, any sort of significant break to the upside, well, maybe up towards yesterday's highs. Anything towards the downside, well, yesterday's lows may be the ultimate lows on the S1 there, but I think both of these sort of targets at the moment, looking at the way the price is moving, is quite ambitious, but they could both be hit. I'd probably be looking midway initially. Now, there's not a lot of points necessarily in all of this move. Yesterday, during a normal trading session, we only moved 100 pips in total. So, yeah, both these levels have potential. It's just watching which way it goes and building some momentum, possibly. But difficult to read when they're like this. I mean, as I say, they can literally go either way. Normally, you've got a bit of an idea in terms of trend. Okay, looking at the dollar yen that broke through, hasn't come back and properly filled the gap up there. From a 4 hourly perspective, there's the gap still to be filled, which it may just take a little bit longer. From a end of day basis, we were within a smidgen of closing the gap. It come up and closed the bars from that perspective almost, but as I say, really could at some point rally back to fill that gap up. It's probably not forgotten. but the 50 MA looks promising at the moment. The daily 50 as a potential target, so just watching for that. If any traction's made to the upside, well then we start looking for the gap fill, and it's unusual for them not to be filled relatively quickly. So really looking as a trend line that sits across the highs here, really looking towards that, and the 21 being broken. I mean, there's points of resistance as we run through in the 50 MA, the 200, so it's not necessarily going to be an easy ride if it starts moving, but any sort of significant news may just start rolling it. Okay, finally the Aussie dollar. And the Aussie dollar, once again, it had run back into that sort of 76 area and rallied, and I've been saying this for a long time, there are so many buy orders sitting around this 76 point. It has major support at those levels from the buy orders that I can see there, and every time it heads off that way, we get a bounce, and it's back up again into this range. Just as it sort of gets up towards the highs at 77.98, I mean, it is very range bound. There is some possibilities with it at the moment. It looks like it might be pushing back to the upside. It's hit its daily pivot, maybe. If this morning at some point we see a break of this badly drawn trend line here, we could see it running up towards the R1 area, back into towards the upper side of the range. So certainly a possibility. You need to get past the 100 MA really there, but if you can get back up that way, then I'll be looking more bullish. Alternatively, if everything's looking a bit negative, well, we have got the break of the daily pivot really is probably the best area, and looking again, if everything starts selling off, looking back down towards the S1 area. At the moment it's erring towards the more bullish side. Okay, news-wise today, we've got a bit of news out today. Most significant, there's some figures like the German unemployment numbers, which may create a little bit of volatility at 8.55. Retail sales have come out at 7 o'clock already, so that's out. Say unemployment numbers at 8.55, which may just create a little bit of volatility. UK-wise, we've got the GDP, final GDP coming out at 9.30. There is the Reserve Bank of Australia Governor Stevens talking at 9:40 at a forum, financial institutions forum, which I think it may be just, well, you never know, it may create some volatility around for the Aussie and other currencies at 9:40. And then we've got the CPI flash estimates, etc., which are coming out at 10. So there's for the euro, so there may be a little bit of volatility around then. And then we just sort of really, there's no really big news today, and the rest of the day it's just smaller stories, which may just give us sort of blips rather than anything else. Canadian GDP comes out every month at 1:30, so it has less significance. Chicago PMI later on at 2:45 may give a blip again. Anything that's looking towards growth will help the dollar there, but yeah, not much more coming out there. I hope you have a great day. Bye for